Welcome back. Let's talk to our techie. Aki Bitoye joins us to bring us update on what we need to fix with our device. Today he's talking about update. Aki, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
So, you know, whenever we have a new device and we install a new app and they say update, because of scammers and fraudulent people on the internet, everybody's literally scared. Are they trying to make me update so that they can get into my privacy and all of that? So walk us through why we should not ignore and what we should pay attention to when updating.
Okay. We tend to miss the fact that software are just lines of code. We see those beautiful icons, the user experience, you click, you see all the animations. They're basically just lines of code. For those who have been in computing long enough, MS-DOS, those Windows, you'll be typing just text on the screen. The whole operating system was just 4,000 lines of code. Yes, but as of today, Windows 10, Windows 11, it's about 50 million lines of code. If you're using an Apple computer, for example, that's 85 million lines of code. I
can imagine what DeepSeek and ChatGPT will be like.
Those runs in billions, because they have a lot of reference points. So these code are not perfect because they are written by humans. So there's always a flaw here and there. That's why they release software updates to patch the flaw, to patch the security vulnerability. So there are some people, that's their work. All they do is search for bugs in code, in software, whatever the software is. They just look for vulnerabilities, weaknesses, and to exploit. So the publishers or the programmers issue these software updates so that you can patch such. Why should you update? To protect yourself. It's very important that about some years back, I think some of our businesses around here were still running Windows 7. That's Microsoft Windows 7. And the support for Windows 7 ended about a decade ago. So what it means is when new vulnerabilities are discovered, Microsoft is no longer pushing updates for it to patch those vulnerabilities. And if you are running a business or you are running critical infrastructure using the operating system, it can be targeted by malicious actors. So you have virus, malware, all of those software. What they do is they just exploit the gaps in the system, like a backdoor, so to speak. So you want to update to keep your data, to keep your information secure. Over time, what you would notice is the software becomes buggy, it becomes laggy. Sometimes your computer restarts at opportune moments. Sometimes it just becomes slow for no reason. It's because...
Yeah, my device is currently... Okay, it has stopped for a while.
It has stopped for a while, good. Once there's an update, you should just update. However, with caution. You remember a couple of months ago that globally, airports were down because there was a software update that was faulty. So everybody that was on that software updated and the whole thing broke, and it was a global phenomenon. So software updates seek to just help with compatibility issues as well. Outdated software, sometimes you want to install a software or an app on your device and say, sorry, this device is not supported. Apple is actually very, very notorious for this. There are certain apps you want to install, say, sorry, this app requires maybe macOS 13 minimum or iOS 15 minimum. So you need to go and buy a newer device.
Well, I don't want to talk about any specific, but for some of these things that they do, some of these companies, is it about really technology or marketing?
It's both ways.
Because
you don't become a $1 trillion company by allowing people to use 10, 15-year-old devices. So what you do is gently you nudge them towards the newer devices. So when you update or there's an update for your device, so someone, a couple of years ago, someone reached out and said, and so I bought this antivirus and I paid for it and he's telling me to update. So I said, update is not either you pay or not. Update is there are newer vulnerabilities discovered, there are newer viruses, newer malware that is being published every day. So what they do is they write the code to counter that vulnerability, so that's why you update. When you update, you will find your device performing up to par.
How to stay on top of updates.
Remember, back in December, our first episode of PC Fix, I mentioned that how to save your data, that you should disable automatic updates. I remember that. So now, you enable automatic updates when you are in an unlimited Wi-Fi. connection. Why? Because the updates would help your computer.
So it will update whether or not you're aware of what's going on.
Exactly, that's automatic update. If you are on the limited data plan, is why you should put it on a metered connection. But what automatic updates does is keep you up to par with what, because that is the job of the publishers. The manufacturers or the people who write this software are constantly looking out for vulnerabilities. They actually pay bounty hunters, people that actually go test their software to look for bugs. They pay them. So it's a big time business. So once they find this flaw, they write a patch, that's a code, that's the update that they push to your computer. Regularly check for manual updates. As is the case as with the situation I mentioned earlier, when the whole software broke for airports globally, you would want to back up your data. This we take for granted until the day the computer is no longer working. See, I have my project on this computer and it's not coming on. What do I do? I've spent months on it. I understand. So what you would want to do is back up your data. You have cloud options on your computer. You have a backup. You can buy an external hard drive.
Because I wanted to come, but sorry for cutting in. I wanted to come to the issue of space and memory when you're talking about backup. Then you now mentioned cloud, which is quite important. I want you to expatiate on that as well. Cloud
storage is a double-edged sword.
Really?
Double-edged sword, as in whatever you put online can be used, can be harvested to train most of this AI. They will tell you they don't, but usually they do in the background. So if you want to put anything online, make sure it's not proprietary. For example, you have an intellectual property, something you have not yet, what's it called now, trademarked. That you don't
keep it off the cloud, keep it off the net.
Keep it offline. Keep it on a flash drive or an external hard drive and just keep it off the internet. Anything that is online can be accessed. That's something to be very wary of. It's very important to have your data backed up in multiple places. If it's on your computer gets stolen, it crashes, there's something wrong with it, it does not boot up, that one is gone. Your backup will save you.
I can imagine how terrible it would be. Maybe you want to defend a project or something on the day it crashes.
Project is the least of your worries. Imagine your wedding photos or your wedding videos. So you cannot go back and invite all those people again. So there are some critical data that you have, you want to keep. The ones that are not sensitive, you can keep them in the cloud. The ones that are sensitive, please keep them offline.
Okay, let's talk about how do you schedule some of this that you've highlighted.
Yes.
You know, I know you have talked about depending on what data plan you're on, you decide to whether keep it on limited access or updates. But for people who don't have maybe that level of resource to be able to afford that, talk to us about how they can schedule their updates.
A couple of the internet service providers, some of these telecommunication companies, what they've done is if you are accessing or using internet data in the middle of the night, from 11 or 12 midnight.
Yeah, about 11 o'clock.
The internet data plans are usually very affordable. So what you can do...
They give you free.
Some of them do.
Yes. When you buy the normal one.
You're an OG. You remember the days of midnight call. So what you'd want to do is schedule the updates to run from 12 midnight to 6 a.m. You would have to keep your computer on.
That is an important statement you made. So how do people schedule? Maybe walk us through. I know you don't have that slide here. So where do they go to setting? Maybe walk us through mentally.
No, if you're on a Windows computer, you can just go to settings, updates, schedule updates. So what the computer also learns how you use it. It knows when you're busy. Most times, once you get to the office 8 a.m., you are using your computer till around 5 p.m. Those are your active times. If an update is running and it needs to restart, you might lose the work you're working on. So if you write schedule when I am not working.
So you literally need to mark it for it.
You can mark it for it. That, schedule when you are not busy time. So it takes it from midnight. Usually it's midnight around 6 a.m. So your computer needs to be on. Then it runs the update, it restarts. Then you're fine. In the morning, you can get gone. However, I should sound a note of warning. If you do not back up, updates can break. Updates can be faulty. There's a million things can go wrong with computers. Technology in general. A computer you just used now, you can just go grab a bottle of water. By the time you come back, the computer is no longer on. All right, let's talk about some of the key takeaways that we should look out for as far as this conversation is concerned. So maybe a wrap up, if you will. Yes. So for people who we're just coming on board, let's walk through it. It's very important to constantly check the health of your computer. I mentioned in one of our previous episodes that a couple of things wear out in a computer or a mobile phone. Your battery. Your battery is one of the things that will wear out. The second is the screen. The screen will wear out, and the third is the storage. for computers, you know, we run a computer. When you buy a computer brand new, or maybe refurbished, you notice that it's working very well. But over time, it begins to slow down. Sometimes it's the hard drive that is wearing out. Because these devices have been manufactured, these components have been manufactured by 10 years ago for some of them. And it takes a while before they get here.
All right. Fantastic, fantastic. Aki Bitoye, what's your, is it Instagram, Twitter? What do you do?
Hey, Bitoye, across board.
Aki
Ibitoye.
Ibitoye across board.
Yeah.
Aki Ibitoye, our techie, who brings us up to speed as to what we will do to improve the quality of our devices. We thank you for bringing us up to speed.
Thank you for having me.